Good afternoon, dear children. Today we will be starting with a new chapter, that is renewable and non-renewable energy resources. Now we need to understand all these terms before we start the chapter. That is the term renewable and the term resource. After doing that, we'll be discussing the subheadings, that is the sources of energy, differences between renewable and renewable resources, and types of renewable resources only for today. Before we go ahead, let's understand the entire terms given in the topic itself. Here we have energy. Now, what is the term energy? That is the first thing you need to understand. That it is a very important resource which is required to warm our houses, to run the factories or your vehicles, to light the streets, and even recycling of material. Everything is done through energy. Now, energy is supplied as electricity, or you can be generating it through burning of the wood or the fossil fuels such as the coal, oil, and natural gas. And they're also termed as these resources that we have been using to convert into energy are also termed as conventional sources of energy because we've been using them since a long time. If we talk of the term renewal, then we need to understand which can be used as new again. And there are some resources which cannot be used again. That means if we just burn the coal, it will turn into ash and we cannot use it or reuse it as new resource. The third term which needs to be explained in the title itself is the term resource. So here we have the definition of the resource, a supply of something that a country, an organization, or a person has, and they can use that simple resource. And that is specially to increase their wealth is termed as a resource. As we all know, human resource is also there, but we are using the human resource by converting their energy or by using their energy to generate more wealth, and that we are not doing in this chapter. We are only talking about non-living or energy resources. That means now let us understand the difference between the renewable resource and the non-renewable resources in detail. The differences, before we discuss the differences, let us understand what is a renewable resource. A renewable energy resource is an energy resource that can be regenerated after use in a relatively short span of time, such as the solar energy, wind energy, or the geothermal energy. These energy resources have the ability to replenish themselves by recycling or by replacement. That means they can be reused as new again. For example, the wind blows more or less strongly and continuously, so it can be used to turn a windmill and create electricity. And it is a continuous process. It is not going to get converted into anything else, but the wind remains the wind. Similarly, all the energies that are renewable energy work in the same way, whether it is the solar, geothermal, or water. Then we can have another using the tides or the sunlight also. It generates the electricity in the same renewable manner. And these non-renewable energy resources are an alternate energy that can replace or reduce the dependence on the conventional resources like the coal and the petroleum. So what are they? They actually become another source. That means an alternative energy for all of us to use. So now the interesting feature about these is that they are renewable because there is no way that they can be finished or they can run out of stock. Simple as that. So basically we've come to the three terms under this difference of, first of all, the meaning of the word renewable. That means they are inexhaustible, they are unlimited, and they are non-conventional resources. And the examples are wind power, solar power, water energy, and the geothermal energy. I'll be explaining all of them in detail. So this is just the beginning of the chapter or the introduction to understand the basics. Or this is just the definition or the meaning of the title we are discussing right now. Then comes the non-renewable energy. Now, these resources are those which take millions of years to regenerate, and they do not reappear during the lifespan of human beings. Example being your coal, petroleum, and the natural gas. So it should be kept in mind that the non-renewable energy resources are very limited, and therefore they must be used very carefully and judicially. Now this question is also mostly asked in the exam as to why should we use the non-renewable energy resources carefully and judicially. So please make sure you understand this term. Why are we using them so carefully? Because they are exhaustible, they are limited, and once used, they cannot be reused again. Therefore, we need to conserve the energy, and we can easily conserve the energy by using the 3 R's that we did in the previous chapter also, that is reuse, recycle, and reduce. Let us now proceed further with the types of renewable energy resources. As I've been mentioning since the beginning of the chapter, these are solar energy, hydroelectricity, tidal energy, geothermal energy, that is the energy from the earth, and the wind energy, which we feel all around us, the horizontal movement of the air, that is the wind, and biogas. We'll be doing all of them in detail, starting with the solar energy. Solar energy is the energy we receive from the sun. It is readily available in nature and in unlimited quantity. Very simple to understand. It is not going to get exhausted in the near future. So, solar energy is used to generate electricity. Now, how are we generating the electricity? Through the solar cells or photovoltaic panels that are used for it. I'll be just explaining this term. Let me finish the initial introduction. Now, these panels are made from very thin semiconducting material. Now, that is made from the sand itself, which is converted into these solar cells, which are when exposed to the sunlight, they use the heat and light of the sun to shake the electrons loose and create an electric current. Now, these solar cells are also used, you must have seen in your area, or you might even have it in your own houses, because now it has become a very common practice to have a solar energy power plant in your own houses, and it can be used for lighting the street lamps. Most of the street lamps along your crossings, you must have seen, have these photovoltaic panels which are automatically giving the electricity to the street lights. And they can also be used for the electronic calculators, watches, smartphones, camera, traffic signal, and the water pumps and the home lighting, and everywhere it is being used now. Initially we had heard about the solar cooker in which we were cooking our food. So this all started, and you can simply use it to heat the water or heat your ovens, anything under the sun which you need to use the energy for, like we were using for the by the electricity that can be used through the solar energy also. Kindly watch the video very carefully to understand the entire functioning of the photovoltaic panels.